All those transformations are called rigid transformations because they don't really change the basic shape of the graph, right? It's pretty much the same fixed shape being moved around. Okay, but these last two transformations are non-rigid transformations, and the way we're going to show it is just by giving it an example, right? We have two examples here. The common function that we're starting with is this one right here, this v, which means it is absolute value, right? So in the first one, we're multiplying the absolute value by a 3 outside. Okay. So, for example, on the parent function, on the common function, if I plug in x equals 1, right, I get y equals 1. But what happens if I plug in x equals 1 here? The y value will be 3, right? Because the absolute value of 1 is 1 times 3 is 3. So that point now is going to be up here. What would happen if I plugged in x equals 2? The y value would be 6, right? So it's all the way up to 6. So look at the v. When I multiply the absolute value by 3, what did it do to the v? It made it go up faster, right? As you're going away from x equals 0, it's going up faster because all the y values are being multiplied by 3. So when this number is multiplied, or this, when the function is multiplied by a number greater than 1, that's called a stretch, right? Greater than 1 means stretch. Means the graph goes up faster. Okay, the second one down here, we're multiplying the absolute value by 1/3. Which means, you know, if I plug in x equals 1, what is the value of y? It's 1/3, right? It's 1/3 of what it was in the common function. So you can see what happens to the graph, right? If every y value now is 1/3 of what it was before, it kind of flattens out the shape of the graph. In fact, now it's going up slower as you move away from the origin. As you go to the right and to the left, it's going up slower. And when that's true, when this number right here is less than 1, then you call that a shrink. So non-rigid transformations are called stretches and shrinks. Okay. Now, what would you call it if I did this? F of x equals -2 times the absolute value of x. Okay? So the reason I'm showing you this is because we commonly do that. But think of it like this. That is a flip and a stretch. The two is actually stretching the graph, and the minus is flipping it. So the truth is that this number here, this number, it's not really the value, it's the absolute value of it, right? If it's between -1 and 1, it's a shrink. If it's greater than an absolute value, greater than 1, then it's a stretch. So don't be confused if you have a number like this. Don't think of it as being less than 1. Think of it as greater than 1 and it's flipped. Okay?